has spoken. We are doing it.
Oh,
Pancake.
that means we're here. Hey, we're here.
Yes, we are here.
All right, good, good.
Well, I
Hey,
asked, and then you said something, so that's what I did.
you didn't counter anything. You're supposed to be the count.
But you said right now. That doesn't mean like 10 seconds from now. It means right now.
Okay, well, now I know.
You know now, yeah.
Good. Now I know, and knowing is half the battle. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So welcome everyone. It's the Double Cup of Joe show. I am your host, Joe.
And I am your other host, Joe.
Yes, and we're here. This is a beautiful, beautiful morning. Today it's Free for All Friday. You can tell by the shirt I'm wearing. I always wear my detective shirt because I always have to do some detective work to figure out what I'm going to talk about with this whole thing. But since I'm talking first on the show, Joe over there gets to talk first on the topic, which takes some of the pressure off of me, which is great. But welcome, Tef. Welcome, random lover of physics in the universe. Welcome, everybody who's lurking. We love to be here with you guys. And, we're excited. This is the last time that this show is going to happen at 7 a.m. Moving forward, the show is going to be ending at 7 a.m. Woohoo! Hey, good morning, Takahashi. Joe is super excited over there. I like getting up early in the morning. I'm gonna turn you into a morning person one of these days, Joe. You're gonna be.
Before.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, hey, mornings are the best. And if you tell yourself that long enough, it takes a couple years, but then if you tell yourself that long enough, then eventually you start to kind of believe it. And then you start to realize, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm up before everybody else in the house.
I'm already doing that by 2 hours, so I don't need extra time.
Well, hey, could have another hour in there. That'd be good. So anyway, welcome. We're super excited to be here, and we're glad to have you with us. So we're gonna start like we start all of these shows with our 3-step process. 3 of them. Uno, dos, tres. Step number 1. What are you thankful for today? Feel free to participate in the chat. Joe, what are you thankful for today?
That's a great question, Joe.
It is a great question. That's why I asked it.
Yep. You ask great questions, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I am thankful for lots of things, but the main thing I think I'm thankful for this today is I get to go down and see my parents and my brother, whose birthday is Sunday.
Oh,
Yep.
cool. Well, that's exciting stuff, huh? Even during all this quarantine, social distancing, you're going to get the chance to go see some relatives. Man, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Random is thankful for having the strength to walk about and do things I couldn't do a few months ago. Oh, did you have an injury or something, Random? Wow. And Tef's thankful for wireless internet. Yes. We heard about your new laptop, Tef. So your wireless internet must be helpful for that purpose. But yeah, wow. Rock is thankful that he made it in time. Hey, got to be thankful for something. And there's tremendous amounts of things to be thankful for. It can be small, it can be big, but just when you start thinking in terms of that, it sets your mind pointed in the right direction. Now we're going to continue that direction. Oh, Takahashi's thankful for managing to get through another day of class. Hey. Okay. Random says not an injury, it's personal. Right on, man. We won't pry. But at any rate, thanks for participating. Next step, what are you looking forward to? We're going to continue on this path. You start with your thankfulness. Now, what's the future bringing to you? Joe?
Oh, yeah. What what am I looking forward to? That's a thing.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
happening.
You're looking forward.
That
You're looking forward to being a morning person.
would be a lie. I don't lie to you people on
We
this show,
won't.
generally speaking, so I'm
We're
not going to say that. Um, no, I think I'm looking forward to. I'll pull a Jeff and just say the same thing thrice. No, I'm actually looking forward to um, one of our normal comments on the show. The day that we finally do this show like in the same room instead of in two different rooms, many miles apart. Having a place to be able to do that would be really amazing. So
Yeah, and probably at that time we'd be able to do the show a little later
yeah,
because both of us will be our schedules will be a little bit opened up at that point.
or you'll have fully corrupted me in order to be super early, and we'll do it anyway.
Yeah, bless you.
Thank you.
Wow, almost like your face exploded there for a second.
I'm allergic to mornings, Joe.
Oh,
Oh, he's just
oh.
doing. I have to change it now.
Oh well. Well, hey, I guess we'll just I don't know, we'll figure it out. Tef's looking forward to finding new great games on stream. Random's looking forward to cleaning the dorm room. Yes. Rocker's looking forward to eating the cheesecake. Ooh, cheesecake can be good. Sometimes not. Depends on what you put on it. Takahashi is looking forward to having a nice, productive weekend. And hey, Cherry's looking forward to going to grandparents this weekend. So we got family. It's a family weekend, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be cool. I'm gonna get to see my in-laws this weekend. That's gonna be exciting. Um, but
Yes, you're one of the outlaws.
yes, I have in-laws, which means I'm an outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But that's awesome. So now that we know what we're looking forward to, what are you gonna do today to move forward? You can move toward that thing, or just to move your life forward in general. What today? What action can you take today that's gonna move your life forward? Joe, what are you
Whoa,
doing?
I gotta do things.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
Oh,
I know it's intimidating sometimes.
yeah, I would have just thought that I could just not do things and things would happen. Wouldn't that be nice? Um, no, what I'm probably gonna do, man, I have not been home and like I haven't been here at this house without like company or being gone in like the last 3 weeks, and it's not gonna stop. So, I am going to today. What a great
Mm.
question. I
Mm.
all I can think of doing today is work, and I feel like that's my cliche answer every day. And I don't want to use that one because we're gonna be dry. Well, because it's like I work from as soon as we get off the show until like I head down to my family's, and that's a 2 hour drive. And then I'm mathematically trying to figure out what I'm gonna do today. So, in terms of moving my life forward, I am gonna find something to do to move my life forward,
Ooh.
and that's what I'm gonna do today.
Wow. Hey.
And that'll be my action step because right now I'm not doing anything. So,
Oh. Well, shoo. Hey, that's always the first step is figuring it out, right?
hmm.
And that can be an action. If you don't know what to do, you can find something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You just gave us all hope because there are days when I'm like that too. When I'm like, I can't figure out what I'm gonna do today. I got all kinds of stuff that I could do, but then what can I do today? Nice. Rock is gonna start the college project. That's due today. Hey, good. Tef's gonna keep looking into games on stream to find some that pick his interest. Randoms finishing work all day, make a list, and hopefully study for once. So, like, school isn't is school going on for all you guys still? Like, my kids just got done. I think yesterday was their last day of school officially for the year. Um, Takahashi's planning on getting some assignments done. Sherry's gonna eat lots of food so I don't starve. And laundry. Yes, laundry is one of those things. It never ends. Like, the pile continues to grow of laundry. And then all of a sudden you gotta wash it. And then you gotta fold it. Well, I guess you don't have to fold it. There have been times when I was like, why do I even bother with these dressers? Like, these are just taking up space in my room, like, because I never put my clothes in them. I take my clothes out of the dryer and I put them in the hamper, and there they sit. And I just grab stuff out of there.
Throw in the
But
other hamper so that you can wash them later.
yeah, that's right. They go from they go through me into the other basket, right?
Mm.
But oh wow, okay. So Takahashi just started a new semester. All right.
Ooh, summer classes.
Yeah. Yep.
Or winter, I
For
suppose, if you're in the
exams
southern
left in June,
hemisphere.
July. No holidays. Wow. All right. Well, hey, cool. So you guys are still working, still doing school. That's awesome. So, man, good luck with all that. That's that can be a chore and a challenge, but you're also learning great stuff a lot of times. That was one cool thing. I remember when I went to college and I actually got to start to study things that I wanted to study. I actually got to focus on, course work that interested me because I was going into a particular field. That was exciting for me, because then it wasn't just, you know, just requirements. You know what I mean? Like, you had those in there too, but I remember having the ability to focus on what I really wanted to do, which was really cool. But anyway, best of luck to all you guys. And Jeff Jeff made it. Look at that. Jeff's thankful for found keys. Yes. Good job, guys. I'm sure it was a team effort over there. Um, so
Mhm.
anyway, but that's the 3-step process. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you going to do today to move your life forward? It was kind of funny. Jeff usually is on the stream with us, and he's usually the first one. He's not on the stream. He's on our meeting before we stream, to just hang out with us and talk and, plan with us. He's the integrator over at Black Static and Swerve. So he's kind of got his hands in everything a little bit. And he's always here every morning. And he was on screen this morning, except he wasn't there. It was just his wall. Right.
It's a nice wall.
Yep. So I was like, so the order usually is Jeff shows up first, and then I come in a little bit later, and then Joe comes in a little bit later. And so it's like, it's kind of like this order. So I got on, and Jeff's not here. He's not there. I'm okay. So I'll just work and, be there by myself, with an empty screen over there. And then Joe comes on. Jeff's still not there. We're like, this is really weird. Like, Jeff's usually here by now. Then all of a sudden he like plops down in his chair. We've lost keys. We can't find them. I gotta help find them. Then,
Click.
yep. So Jeff, I'm telling everybody your story. So hopefully you're okay with that.
You'll find out in 8 minutes.
Yes. But anyway, good job, Jeff. Good job finding the keys. So anyway, do that 3-step process every day. It'll change your life.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly did to me. It helped me have a new outlook. Didn't necessarily change my results immediately, as changing your results usually is a process, but it changed my outlook, which is super important because anytime you're looking at your day, the present is when life is happening. And if your outlook is good in the present, your life is just going better. It really is. So I would encourage you, do that every morning. Do it throughout the day, multiple times. I mean, just remind yourself, what are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you doing? It puts you on such a good path to actually being excited about your life. And so today, though, is Free for All Friday. We're doing Jahotsafits' topic about mental health. Oh, that's bright. That's
You're glowing.
I know. I was like, wow. All right. So anyone who wants to read along, I'm going to read the topic and I'll put it in here. Ha! I did it before Princess.
Good work. Good work.
Yeah, if you don't know what that means, you should watch Don't Worry Wednesday.
Tonight.
Except it's called Don't Fret Friday today.
Oh.
I know you're like, technicalities.
Schmecknicalities.
Blah, blah, blah. All right. So Jahotsafits gave us this topic at the beginning of May, and it is still May, so this is still applicable. His topic says May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it is a topic that should be addressed at all times of the year. What is mental health, and how can we improve it? Are there any resources for people to use? Of course there are, and it's more important than ever during these times to maintain ourselves. What are some things we can do, and potentially how or why will it help? And that was posted by Jehoshaphat.
Mm.
Jerry says, I'm hungry. Can I mentally consume this topic? Hey, give it a shot. Joe's going to give you some great words. I'm going to turn it over to him because he's got that look in his face. Look at that look. That's the one. Like, I know all. Yes. The stroking of the chin and the eyebrow. Yeah, good. Take it away, Joe.
I'm taking it. Sorry. So yeah, today it's Free for All Friday. Rude. So anyway, it's Free for All Friday. We're talking about mental health, which I think is a really, really important topic. One that I have to have with a lot of the people I graduated with very recently, especially in college, is one of the things that they don't talk about when you go to work is mental health. It's like just something most people don't want to discuss. Something that kind of goes by the wayside. Like, oh yeah, that's a thing. We'll just not talk about that for a while. And that's just a good way to approach something important. Is so I'm glad that Josephit's shared it. I hope you guys learned something from. I hope I learned something from this, because this is really a topic that you'll never stop facing. Um, like he says in his post, even though it's Mental Health Awareness Month, it's really something we need to focus on all year round. It doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this May it's been especially important with the way that the pandemic has worked, with the way that um, all of our situations have worked. That we really take a look at this. And I told you that on the show. I'm not gonna pretend to have everything together. I'm not gonna pretend like we get on the show and we have all the answers, because that's not why we do this show. That's what you think. Like, I need to clear the air. We don't have all the answers. Um, so for reference, last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, my wife went down because we left town to go visit her parents. She left a little bit before me, and I after she left, I took the last 2 hours of work off. I took PTO, which I've never done it before. Where I was just like, I am so mentally beat up by everything that has happened for the last 4.5 months that I can't continue to work. And so I took 2 hours off and just said, I'm out. I'm done. I've got to go read my Bible and pray because this is not good.
Mm.
Um, so it's okay to recognize that even if you haven't been here before, even if you haven't faced mental problems before, even if you haven't had um, this struggle before, that doesn't mean it won't happen, and it doesn't mean that you um, aren't going to be able to deal with it or face it. One of the things that I kind of want to say to this is it had been coming a long time. Like, it's important with mental health to be aware of where you are, and if you're spending a lot of time playing video games or distracting yourself with YouTube or pushing away your problems with entertainment, and I'm speaking to this specifically because I'm fairly certain that that's what the crowd of everyone who's watching this would be predisposed to do.
I think that's a predisposition of everybody, really.
Right.
Not just you guys here, but
But
yeah,
yeah. So I
I'm
mean,
predisposed too.
so and I'm not like again. I'm speaking from this is me, and because this is my experience, I suspect that other people are having, or will have this experience as well. Of hey, I am dealing with something that's much larger than myself, and how do I grapple with that? Because if you haven't noticed, I well, and to clear the air, I didn't cause the pandemic, so I'm not really in control of it.
I'm glad to know that,
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah, yeah. I just want to clear the air on that one. Um, I'm not in control of it, and one of the big things, or one of the most important things of mental health is understanding what you can and cannot control, and then learning to deal with that aspect. I can't control the globe. I can't control uh, things beyond like my two hands or my words. All I can control is my reaction to them and what I do in the interim. It's one of the reasons Joe talks about it, and I try to do it, but haven't been as good as like just maybe it's time to stop watching the news. Maybe it's time to mentally unplug from all these outlets that are like it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. There's this great line from it's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and Sean Connery is playing this gruff old guy in what I believe is Southern Africa, and the spy commander comes to talk to him and say, we need to recall you for service for Her Majesty's army. And he tells him this terrible things that are going on. Like, yeah, there are always terrible things going on. Like that's just how it is. There are going to be terrible things. There have been terrible things. There will be terrible things. It's it's cyclical. In understanding where you are in all of this and what you can do will really change the way that you interact with things that are terrible and bad. Because you are able to affect change. You are able to do small things in the place that you are that can improve life and other people's mental ability through these things. But you can only do it to the extent that you are in control. So that's how I'm going to start. I think it's important that hey, this is where we are now, and understanding where we are now, and and some of the mental health issues that could probably very well be going on right now. How we can start to deal with some of those. I don't actually have some. I think Jehoshaphat puts like references or help things. So I'm gonna hope that Joe has some because he reads all the books and knows all the things. So I'm gonna pass it back to him to kind of continue on.
Yeah, I have found I love what you were talking about disconnecting from forms of media that can be like a downer, like the news for sure, man. I understand. I've had people tell me, "Well, you got to stay connected. It's your responsibility to be connected to the world." And I had like this particular boss was like deeply offended when I told him I wasn't watching the news anymore. He was like, "It's your responsibility. You have to know." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me if something bad's happening." Like, so I'm going to take that time that I could be filling my brain with negative stuff and fill it with something positive, right? I'm going to do something. I'm going to read a good book. I'm going to listen to a powerful audio, something positive and uplifting. Maybe it's music. There's music that's that has just inherent beauty that you love. I actually just found I don't have a link for it right now. I'm gonna have to post it at some point. But I just found out one of my cousins is now producing his own stuff. Now he's older than me, and he's been for years. He's been the owner of a recording studio, and he's been recording other people's music. But now he's starting to release his own, and it's absolutely beautiful. Like this first single that he released, it's somber, it's peaceful. He's got a great wide array of instrumentalists playing with him. It's beautiful. But anyway, so like maybe listening to beautiful music, something that lifts your spirits. I would shy away from a lot of things that have negative messages. Um, Although I will say, I have learned that sometimes, it's important to deal with the sadness that we have. Because sometimes we are sad, and sometimes it helps to get that out if we find an expression of that sadness. So then we can, it helps us to work through it. But as we do that, it's important to recognize our limits so that then we can, switch back over to building back up, because we don't want to just stay stuck in sadness all the time. The idea is to experience the sadness, to feel it and let it wash over us so that we can deal with it and then re-emerge on the other side. And there are resources I would have. Man, I tell you, there's one book that I just recently finished called The Alchemist by Pablo Coelho. I think you pronounce it. That's the way to pronounce it. But um, look that book up because it's a great read. It's a story, so it's easy to read. It's not just like telling you what to do and telling you why to do it, right? Those books have value too. But this one is a story, and through the story, you understand, you start to learn, how to live life in a way that you find your purpose, you find your personal mission, you find, what it is that makes you tick, what it is that's going to make you, live a meaningful life. And um and through that, you start to understand that this journey that we go through in life, I've heard before the saying, the journey is the destination. So we find ourselves pursuing goals a lot. We do that at Black Static and Swerve. We set goals and we pursue them and we run after them. But the pursuit of those goals is actually the destination, because that's what makes us feel alive, right? On a day to day basis. To be in pursuit of something makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we're accomplishing. It makes us like the drama of life kind of plays in there. We're just like, yes, this is living, right? Rather than just sitting and doing nothing, I'm actually out. I'm trying things, and that's a great way to help. If you can find a goal, even in the midst of this pandemic, even in the midst of social distancing and quarantine, there's lots we can do, especially with digital communication. With, you can do a lot with interacting with people online. It's a wonderful thing, but you can find something that fits your personality and start to pursue it. And just simply pursuing it will make you feel more alive, and it'll help with whatever mentally is going on. Um, Another book that made a huge impact for me was The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. But definitely take a look into that one. That just he talks about morning routines and different things to put in your mornings, so then you feel good about yourself. And one of the key things in there, did you know it wouldn't be a me talk if I didn't talk about exercise? I'm telling you, I have been reconvinced and reconvinced and reconvinced over and over and over again how important exercise is to your mental health. Now, you don't have to go to the gym and become a beefcake and do all kinds of like whatever. I'm not talking necessarily about that. You can do yoga. Yoga is one of the most physically and mentally cleansing activities you can do. Tai Chi is another one. These are all just forms, things you do with your body that are not super strenuous, but they exercise you. You're going to feel it the next day when you start these regimens, even though it doesn't seem like you're doing a whole lot. But those are some things you can do. Like if you're not necessarily into being like, I'm going to work out, it's going to be hardcore, man. You can do yoga. You can do some stretching. You can do Tai Chi. And there are resources online to learn all these things and do them. You can follow along with different YouTube videos. I've toyed around with the idea of starting an exercise program where we can work out together. I think that'd be kind of fun, but we just don't have the time for that right now. We got plenty of other things we're running after right now at BSS. But one of the things that you can do when you're exercising is pay attention to what goes on in your mind. Pay attention to your thoughts, because you'll start to notice as you're exercising, sometimes the anger and the frustration creeps in, and then that just fuels you to work harder. And then as you work harder and you get that energy out of you, then all of a sudden you feel more confident and you're like, oh, this is great. And then that in turn can fuel even more. And it's amazing what happens mentally when you're exercising. So I would encourage you to add that to your routine, whatever you're doing. And that would be very, very helpful. But so I've thrown out a couple of resources and some activities you can do. And I'm going to turn it back to Joe because he's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like every time we do this, Joe tells me I need to exercise, and then I don't, and I still have the same problems. So maybe one day I will take him up on that.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling everybody.
Am I not part of everybody, Joe?
Good point.
Got him. So yeah, Joe, those are great. So thanks for sharing with everyone these different ways that we can deal with the mental things going on in our life. Um, I think it's definitely a big part of what we're gonna face. I think it's important uh, oof, to recognize that cats are the cause of all problems, not the solution to all problems. So let the record show. Um, and I could be biased because I'm allergic, but um, I'm pretty sure cats cause all the problems. In terms of I think getting back to what Lily's talking about here with being bored. Yes, we read our comments. Um, you will get called out.
Sorry.
No, it's you're good. It's funny because Being bored actually puts you in a very, very good place to be able to really, analyze yourself. It definitely puts you in a place to be say, "Oh shoot, there's some real things going on in my life." I actually truly encourage all of you to take some time unplugged. Like right after this show, we're gonna bore you to death with this show. Then disconnect from everything for a couple of minutes and just sit there in silence
Mm.
and see what pops up. Where does your head go?
Mm.
Without like what's next, where does your head go? Because that is going to give you a really good idea of what's going on with your mental health. Especially if your first reaction is I need something to just fill in that void, to like get through this boredom. Um, that's probably a sign that you have some underlying issues. I know it is for me. Whenever I'm like scared to get bored, I'm like, that's probably means that I don't like what happens when I don't have things occupying my thoughts, and I'm forced to just think where my head is at. Um, if you were on the show or a little bit earlier in this week, I think it was Tuesday, I talked about Philippians 4, which talks about fear. So maybe it was last week, but no, this week was fear. My goodness, it's been a long week, guys. Um, Another part of that passage actually talks about what you set your mind on. Like, set your mind on things that are good, righteous, holy, noble, anything really good. That's what you should fill your head with on a day-to-day basis. Is things that are good. Because what you'll find, is that as you continue to set your mind on things um, that are good, your natural mental state will be towards good things. Um, Cherry, I understand that. Hey, it's tough. I'm not saying this is an easy thing. I do the hey, let's occupy my brain all the time as well too. Like this isn't me just saying hey, you guys need to do this. This is me saying to me, you need to do this. Um, where I like to just fill that time because I don't want to think about what's actually going on in my head sometimes. But understanding if that's where my head is at, that I really need to change what I'm occupying my thoughts with. I really need to start to revamp what kind of media I'm intaking, as Joe talked about.
Mm.
I'm really gonna need to revamp like where I set my mind and my goals, because those might not be in line with what I want. They could still be like it's the reason I want you to get bored is because it gives you time to consider the following. Oh wait, no, that's from Bill Nye the Science Guy. It gives you time
Bill
to
Nye the Science Guy.
it gives you time to consider all of the parts of your mental health. So in my instance, like I know that what I am doing with my life right now is what I should be doing with my life right now, and probably for a very long time. Like where I'm at and what I'm doing are good things. So if my goals and objectives are actually where I think they need to be, then it's pretty likely at this stage that it's the media I'm consuming that probably needs to change. It's the shows, it's the news, it's the everything else. But the reverse can be true. What if you're consuming good media? You're reading good books, you're talking to good friends who can fill you with good ideas. Maybe you need to change your goals. Maybe your goals aren't rightly oriented. Mental health is a really big topic, and while I'm glad we get to discuss it, there is no way we're going to be able to get through everything that it entails.
Mm.
It's it's massive. There's so much that goes into this, and it affects your life so much.
Mm.
It changes pretty much everything. Cherry, I'm trying to read the comments here. I wish I could just shut off my mind for a minute, relax, but I'm always thinking about what can I do next, how do I get there, what can I do now? Not that it's coming up with a complex story, but it keeps adding till it becomes too complex, and then comes up with another. And really, like that's something to just be aware of. My head does the same thing. Like as soon as there's a gap, it's like, what do I think about next? Where do I go? What about this? Let's just daydream and just fill that time with not focusing on something good.
Mm.
And it is so tough. It is so tough. It's not. It's like it's like any skill or any muscle. Like you have. It's something you have to train. Like it feels like a minute. The first minute where you like shut off your head for some time is gonna be all of your thoughts trying to fill that gap. Like everything. And your whole goal should just be just keep knocking out those ideas as they come into your head. Just keep getting rid of them for a minute or two. Like it doesn't have to be a long time as you're starting to do this, but to really just sit in peace is a lot harder than people make it out to be. Everyone thinks it's the monk who's on the mountaintop. He's got nothing around him. He's not dealing with a ton of stuff. Like, oh, he's achieved enlightenment. But really, how good is a monk? How good is your peaceful, how good are you at bringing mental peace if the only way that you can achieve that is if literally nothing is around you? You have to get rid of everything so that you can achieve it. What good is that? That's not actually really strength in mental awareness and mental health. It's more, well, I got to this place where I'm far away and don't have to deal with all the issues everyone else does. And part of what we have on the show is we want you to be able to be strong, not only for yourself right now, but also as you go out into a world that's busy and full and just wants to fill your mind with whatever it can. We want you to be able to say, no, this is what I choose, what goes in my head, and I choose that it's going to be good stuff, and if it's not, I'm going to kick it out. That's really what mental health comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy. Random number of physics in the universe takes a lot of practice. You need to work on it for months and years, and it'll always be ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll always be ongoing because
Yep.
if you don't know how your eyes and ears work, um, generally speaking, you don't get to control what happens in front of them, or you don't really get to control what you hear or what you see. You just there they are. Like you can set up your life to like, maybe I don't look at that kind of thing, or I close my eyes, or I change the channel, or I don't go to those places where I'm seeing and hearing those things. But aside from that, when you're going through your day to day, just see what you see and you hear what you hear. And that's a crazy thing about our senses. So you don't, even as you get older and you've practiced this for a long time, recognizing that you are always, always, always having inputs into your head, unless you're sleeping.
And even then, you could be.
You could be then.
You're just not in control of it necessarily, unless you can do the lucid dreaming thing. Like anyone who's mastered that, I want to learn that skill. I don't sleep long enough to dream much, but um, that's one thing I would always like to know that I'm dreaming. So then I can be in charge of the dream. I'd always fly if I could. Like, hey,
Yeah, Joe, you don't sleep
this
enough
is
as it is. And if I understand lucid dreaming properly, that's like not even good sleep. So it's like we got Joe here. He's like, yeah, I just want to like not sleep at all and just call it sleep.
Whoa. Jono says, in my dream, I will prove that B is the bomber. Wow. That'd be something if B turned out to be the bomber. That's like one of the least likely, personality wise. Wow. Hey, we're going to find out soon, though, who the bomber is. Sorry, Joe, I cut you off.
You're good.
Were you done?
That's pretty much
Did you have anything else?
no.
Just your dashing good looks?
Hmm.
Yeah. No, what you're saying is super important. This is a mental discipline that's going to take a lifetime because it's one of those things. It's like anything in this life. If you're not moving forward, you're kind of automatically moving backwards. So this is something that's going to continue to take vigilance. Now, it's okay. Now, I don't want to demoralize you and think, oh, this is going to be a hard struggle for my entire life. No. The idea is as you progress, you start to feel better and your life takes on a whole new dimension. And when you are disciplined in your mental health, it's it you just feel better about everything. And then you're more excited to do those things that make you feel better. And it just becomes this continuous, you are making effort, and you are working on your mind, but the more you start to see the results, the more you get excited to do those things, and the more you just look forward to it, and it becomes not work anymore. It just becomes an activity that is super awesome. Like, I drive around a lot for a living. That's what I do, as an inspector. I drive all the time. But one of my greatest joys that I have had in my life has been driving. I just love going places. You can ask Ryan, Static. You can ask him because for years, we went to seminars and leadership events together and everything like that, right? And I generally would be the driver when we'd get to whatever unfamiliar city that, we were in. And there's crazy traffic and it's just, like, whoa, we end up Kansas City. Anybody who's ever been to Kansas City, man, that's a tough one. Going through Chicago. I mean, we've been on some amazing road trips. One of the best road trips I ever took with Ryan was if you go to watch. Actually, here I'll give you the link. If you watch this, that's the link to Sail On, the music video that Ryan and I worked on. I tell you, we took a couple days and we drove around Northwest Michigan. And I used to live up there. I lived there for 5 glorious years. And I'd go to work and I'd get out of work and then I'd drive and I would explore because there are beaches and dunes and just woods and everything. There's just beautiful, beautiful areas to go all around and explore. And so I used to do that all the time when I lived up there and then moved back to mid Michigan, down back to the city. And, that kind of stopped. But Ryan and I got to take a trip and we went back up there and we drove and we saw some of those glorious places again. And it was amazing. One of the things I've understood about myself is I can take a mental vacation whenever I want. You can do the same thing. If there's a place that you enjoy. Now, if you watch Sail On, you'll see that's mine. Those are my places where it's like paradise to me. It's beautiful. And I will remember, I will take my imagination and I'll go back there. Because your mind is powerful enough, you can do that. And if you have places that you love being, if you have memories that were wonderful, I mean, like that can be so helpful to take that uh mental that mental vacation. Sorry, my train of thought went all crazy. Um uh So I lost my train of thought. Sorry. John, I appreciate the comment. However, I'll let that through, but be mindful of your word choice. But yes, I did stop motion animation. Actually, that sandcastle in Ceylon, that was about 300 photos.
What?
Yeah, what I did was I built a sandcastle, right? And then I took a picture of it, and then I'd take a little chunk off of it, and I'd take another picture, and I'd take another chunk off of it, and I'd take a picture, and I took another chunk off of it, and I take a picture, and I took another chunk off of it, and I took a picture, right? And so like 300 plus photographs, of me dismantling a sandcastle. And then I just did it in reverse. And so it built it.
That's funny.
Yep, that's how I did it. And actually, the funny thing is that sandcastle was done at a park, like right near the city. Like I didn't do that at the cool beaches where Ryan and I went to. I went to some crummy little local park, like with the sand is like filled with dirt, you know. So,
This is your behind the scenes look with
yeah,
Joe.
yeah, that's right. But the point of this is find places you can go in your mind. There's a great business philosopher, Jim Rohn, who said, I have discovered the power of feasting on my own intellect. And you can do the same thing. You can use your imagination to go to a place. There's I can't remember who this particular general was. There was a general, it might have been Stockdale or something. He was in a VF Cong prison camp for years. And what he did while he sat there in that prison was he played golf. He would sit there in his cell and he played the greatest golf courses in the world in his mind. And it helped him through. You can do the same thing. When you feel downtrodden, when you feel, like things aren't going your way, you can take a break. You can take your mind and you can go somewhere that's enjoyable to you, a place that's peaceful. Your mind is super powerful. Why it's so important to maintain its health, because your brain is greatly, greatly powerful. So, yeah, everything that Jerry says, I want to see footage of Joe at the park with the sandcastle. Oh, there is none, because I was the only one and there was only one camera. But yeah, the things you can do with a bunch of little crazy tools you get at the dollar store, like a spatula, a spoon, and a bucket.
A spatula?
Yeah, oh yeah. Spatula, a knife, like a little plastic knife.
Just imagining Joe like with these tools like laid out on the sand, and it's just like the weirdest assortment of items.
Yeah, people were looking at me funny. Like I had the camera up with a tripod, like, and I had to hurry. It was getting dark. That's why it's kind of gray. Like you notice it was gray. I had to adjust the lighting so because it was getting dark, and I had worked all day in inspections. And so like this was at the end of my work day. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this today. It's gotta get done today. And so I go to this park. It was not far from my last inspection. And so I'm like, all right, quick, I gotta build a sandcastle. Ah, all right. Build. And then I started taking it apart. And then like as it was finally getting to the end, it was getting dark out. And I'm like, hopefully the camera's good. And then the camera died right after the last photo and everything. So it was like it was yeah, it was a fun time. Thanks, Jeff. Jim Collins, good to great, also covered the General Stockdale paradox. That's what it was, General Stockdale, that played that mental game. But I'll tell you, you guys can do it. and it's going to be great. So hopefully some of this was helpful for you guys. Not necessarily my behind the scenes look at video making, but I would encourage you go back and re-listen to the things Joe had to say, because he expounded some wonderful stuff on how to keep your brain in the right place. And you always impress me with your wisdom, Joe. I gotta say, you do.
I'll take your word
So
for it.
I am looking forward to being impressed next week, because we're going to be starting this an hour earlier.
Ooh.
Joe's excited. You can tell. That's the excited face. Look at that one right there. But we are going to be talking next week about confidence. Because facing fear and doing all this stuff and taking action in the midst of fear leads to great confidence. And we're going to be talking about different aspects of that and how to grow that in yourself. And it's going to be a fun week. So yes, I hope you guys join us next week at the earlier time. And we'll be talking about some of that. It's going to be good. So we love you guys. In the meantime, if you have a topic for us for Free for All Friday, you can post it. You can post it here in the chat for us, if you want. Hopefully one of us will see it and catch it and be able to put it in there. But if you want to make sure it gets there, go to this link right here. And you can post a topic for us for Free for All Friday. Anything you want us to talk about, we'd be happy to tackle for you. And it might be entertaining just to see us fumble around for an hour trying to think up something to say. Raka likes having us talk about things like hands. We had to come up with stuff to talk about hands, which is actually quite profound. They're glorious things. But at any rate, go there if you have something for us to post. Come back tonight. We're doing Free for All Friday. Static P and me will be on tonight, and we'll be handling any topics that you guys post, challenges, issues you might be having. And so come back. Our list is getting shorter for that show. So if we run out of topics, we're just going to make one.
Ooh.
And we're going to talk about it. It's going to be good. So we're continuing hands. I don't.
No.
I think we covered everything we could about hands. Next week, I think it's coming from Amira, and it's the great hot dog / bun mystery. Why do they put different amounts of hot dogs in packages than buns in the package? Yes. So it's going to be a fun time. So also, one last thing, mental health, take time to laugh.
Yes.
Find something funny and laugh. You will find it's going to be glorious. That's one of the reasons why I try to laugh and have a good time and joke around some on this show, because we understand how important laughter is to creating a good mental mindset. But with that, we love you guys. We'll see you next time, next week. Same place, different time. Subscribe button, and then you'll get there. Did you cut me off already? You cut me off and bring me back?
Yep. That one.
You did.
Oh yeah, you said hit the subscribe button. It was important.
I know I did. Hit the subscribe button. So Joe's trying to cut me off before I say all you.